Hello and welcome to Rev Sports Cricket 360. I'm Prantik, and as always, I have the pleasure of having Jadita with me. We are looking at the third T20 international between India Sri Lanka. This, as we know, is a dead rubber in that sense. But I think, again, as with many other things, it can always be a good opportunity for new faces, new talents, or even existing talents who may have not had the chance to kind of express themselves. Jadip, we understand that Sri Lanka has won the toss and chosen to bat first. But I want to get your thoughts first on the 11 because obviously I hear, unfortunately, Ishan's out. I mean, just for a precautionary test, looks like our openers, be it women or men, they're kind of getting these bouncers on their heads and being tested. But what do you think? With Mayank, do you reckon he should play? Why not have Venkatesh at the top? Why add this extra player just for this one-off game?
If you add Venkatesh at the top, then is he getting ready at the spot that you need him in the T20 World Cup? So that's the point. I think it's right to play Mayank because he's filling in for the people who will be opening. So because Venkatesh, they are looking at Venkatesh to bat in the middle order, so it doesn't make sense him batting at the top of the order because then there are two people batting out of position.
Got that. So I think it's more about just trying to ensure that do we have the right players for the right spot. So I mean,
Yeah,
clearly,
Venkatesh is not yet a finished product himself, so he's also finding out how to bat in the middle. So right now, if we get him back to open, and then again when Kishan comes back, he goes to number six. That doesn't make any sense at all.
fair enough. So I think most likely that's going to happen. Although we see that Bishnoi, Kuldeep, Avesh, and Siraj have come in, I think that's going to make it's a very obviously we're resting our our tier one bowlers, but I'm very excited about Bishnoi. I think he had a fantastic series previously. Kuldeep again obviously has been in and out. He's done well, but again he's probably he doesn't feature in the preferred bowling list. But your thoughts on having a Avesh and a Siraj? I know obviously we have spoken about Bhuvi and we've spoken about Bumrah, but what do you reckon about Avesh Siraj the combination going in?
Yeah, I feel it's good. I think we are trying out everybody. That time where we need to try out everybody, and this is a great opportunity for us. The series is in our pocket, and I think sooner or later, these players who've been in the squad, they also need to be tried at some point. Otherwise, how do you figure out who you go with? They've been in the squad, they've been in the periphery, they've been in and around the Indian team for a while, and they haven't played. Uh, Avish has played one game, didn't go his way, but longer rope. And I think clearly this is the sort of series you want to try everybody out, and so that you can really try whoever you want, and then you take a call. Have a proper look at everybody. So there is this one lot which is surely in. There's the next lot which could be in. So it's the could be in time. It's time for them to see the could be ins in and a proper run to them.
And obviously, we are all looking forward to another innings, for Samson. I think he had a good start, played well, three sixes in that over. Unfortunate to get caught out with that amazing catch by Fernando, but like you said, a catch is a catch. But we're hoping that Samson today gets a better role. Of course, India will be chasing, so it'll be good to see how does Samson potentially probably bat with the Shreyas or maybe one of the top order guys to script that chase. Between for a Samson, you've obviously seen him in the IPL. Do you reckon he's a better batsman when he's chasing, or he's better when he's he has the flexibility and freedom to kind of put a target on the board?
No, I think he's good either way. I think he has a lot of ability. What he needs to do is stitch those performances together. There is one innings he'll play like nobody else can play, and then there'll be some innings where he might not be that consistent. I think it's about consistency. That's what a Rohit Sharma does. That's what a Virat Kohli does. That's what a Surya does. That's what Shreyas Iyer is beginning to do. It's about stitching the performances. The 39 yesterday, if he can come up with a 50 today of 29 balls, then he comes up with another 71 of 52 balls. So that's stitching it together. Then this guy is going to score 3 out of 5 games. And he has the ability. It's just a question of him doing it. Even in the IPL, I'm sure he would like to be more consistent than he is. There is one innings that will baffle you, and the whole world will be tweeting him. How is this guy? How does this guy not play for India? I agree with that. On that innings, he should be playing for India. But at the end of the day, it's not the quality of the innings, but the frequency of those innings that keeps you in an Indian team.
And you reckon Shreyas Iyer has probably done that? What a year, what a last 6, 8 months he's had. Tests, ODIs, IPL bid, captain. I mean, when you spoke about in today's world in terms of tweets, there's hardly a wrong step, barring being out for bad health or an injury. I think everything's gone his way.
Yeah, I think with him, it's the Mumbai Gharana because he's come out from a very tough Mumbai cricket background. Sanju is from Kerala, where I think he is that star in the team. So he will. I've just finished commenting on a Ranji Trophy game between Kerala and Gujarat, where a guy called Kunumal has got 300s on the trot in his third match, and he's got 100 against Meghalaya and 100 against both innings against Gujarat, a strong team like Gujarat. So just goes to show the sort of cricketers they're producing. And he at one time was batting 95 of 72 balls in the fourth innings of an inning with a wicket, which is obviously had wear and tear. Okay, it's Rajkot, agreed. But even then, there's spike marks, there are foot marks, there are ball marks. There's been 4 rounds of mowing on it, so the grass is eroded. There's a lot of dry surface. There is a lot of variable bounce. But the guy is 75, 79, 75, 77 balls, 95 batting. Just goes to show the maturity of the cricketer. So Kerala player have a lot of flair. Vishnu Vinod got 100 in the first inning, which was superb. So all I'm trying to say here is that Sanju also probably his grind into first test cricket is not as hard as some of the others from the bigger states, for lack of a better word, in the sense that it's more difficult to play for Bombay than it is to play for Kerala. So I think the grind has helped his complete cricket, being a complete cricketer. His finishing school, Shreyash, has been to a tougher finishing school than Sanju has been. But Sanju is immensely talented. I love the guy, and I hope that he plays one of those innings that he plays in the IPL. He plays one of them for India, and then we'll see the real Sanju. We are actually not seeing the real Sanju. We are seeing about 50-60% of him. Once he knows he belongs here, he has justified his talent. He's justified his selection. He feels that everybody's been pushing me, backing me. I have to repay that faith back, and I've done that. Then you'll see the real Sanju.
Very, very excited to do that. Before I talk about the pitch and the weather and the match ahead, you spoke about the Kerala team. Now, you probably know this better. You've obviously been covering this. I mean, I can only count a few players like, from Kerala that have come up to the international. I mean, I remember Tino Johan and obviously Sanju Samson. I mean, having seen, when you meet these domestic players or you commentate on these games, what's the sort of influence is Sanju Samson, who's just about to break? He's broken into the Indian side. What's the influence on that next? I mean, there's a Sachin Baby. You spoke about some of the other players. Does that kind of help them break that confidence barrier? That man, if Sanju can get there, you know what? We're probably somewhere in the queue at least.
Tinu Yohanan is the coach of the team, and they have a few players in the IPL, people who've played in the IPL. Sachin Baby has played in the IPL. Sandeep Warrior has now moved to Tamil Nadu, but he's the Kerala boy. He's always played for them. Then there's Basil Thampi right now, who's gone into Mumbai Indians. So they have loads of players who are in and out. They're a very good white ball team, and they're turning the corner with the red ball also. They're a dangerous white ball team. They can beat anybody on their day. They're fearless. They've got strokes. They're strong. They run well between wickets. They're a really good side. So I think red ball is the tougher version, but to beat a team like Gujarat and especially the younger lot, the players that are coming through, somebody over there is doing something right with the junior system, because these are the players who've come through the 16, the 19, the 25, and they've got another opener, a guy called Rahul, who also got 100 in the last game. He got a 49 in the first innings. Looks superb, and these are all in their first, second games, third games. So just goes to show that what an able leader Sanju has been. He is a great influence because he's a role model, and he is not 38, 40. He's in early 30s or probably late 20s. So everybody feels him that he's a senior, yes, but he's actually not a senior. So he's one of us. He's like a brother, elder brother in the team. They're not in awe of him. They feel that they can go up to him, and he's the one who's paved the way. Not many of them are as blessed as Sanju, and that's something that you have no control over. But nobody works harder than the Kerala boys. They really work hard on their skills. They leave no stone unturned on the cricket field, and they're blessed with a lot of natural ability. Maybe not to such Sanju's standard, but they're all very, very special. So here, Sanju has a big role, and there'll be another player coming through. Suddenly you'll see a Basil Thampipuri, 142. Suddenly you see Sandeep Warrior, who's now in Tamil Nadu, but I see him as a Kerala boy. He's played all his life there, doing well. And then there'll be some Azharuddin somewhere, or some guy comes in and he's, oh my God, a Kulumal now. He gets 300s in a row. I mean, I can't imagine in this third game, he's got 300s. He's averaging 116 in first class
Phenomenal.
cricket. Yeah, and he must be thinking, everybody tells me this is tough. And he probably can't wait for the next match to start. He wants it tomorrow morning. He'll have to wait 3 days. And they have a tough game. They play MP, and whoever wins that goes through to the quarterfinals. So, it's all panning out well. But Sanju is special, and he has a great role to play in Kerala cricket.
No, fabulous to hear. Not just about these young guys who kind of knocking the door, paving their paths up. I mean, amazing 3 centuries back to back in your first 3 games is fairy tale stuff. But also, I think what they might be looking forward to is that Sanju is not, he's just talented. He's made it there, but he's also the guy who's making comebacks. And I think when you see people making those comebacks, like you said, you can have that fairy tale start, but somewhere down the road you might get stuck. And the question is, who has the resilience, the temperament to kind of fight back and claw your way back. So hopefully Sanju has a great game. Talking about
Yeah,
today's
but
game, I mean,
also
yes,
on that, Sanju's only made it back because the others have been indisposed. So everything also has to fall in place for you. If everybody was fit and ready to go, Sanju probably would have been playing here in Rajkot. But because there were vacancies, see, that is the luck factor that you need. Now today there are vacancies in the team. There are people who come in today. Somebody gets a 35 ball 72. He's there. This is how you
yeah.
take your chances. So Sanju got a 39 today, gets a 70 or 45 balls. He's there. He doesn't come back to Rajkot or wherever Kerala is playing, because he's made his mark over there. So you wait for an opportunity. When your initial opportunity comes, you wait for that. Then you wait for another opportunity, whether it's through injury or COVID or whatever, and then you try to cash in on it. And when you grab that opportunity, when you have that opportunity to grab it, that's the moment you want to cherish.
All the way, Sanju. There's a lot of love and support for you because obviously it's absolutely fantastic talent who's kind of finally got his, hopefully because of various reasons he's got that opportunity, and hopefully he'll make the most of it. And looking at the game, I just heard our dear good friend Deep Dasgupta just talk about the pitch. He said it's a different pitch, it's a bit drier, and India is going in with technically 8 bowling options. And I suppose with that, would you have reckoned that India would have anyway wanted to bowl first and with 8 bowlers in the toe, and also see, in terms of chasing, how does India kind of go about that? What are your thoughts on the 8 bowler option? Are we going in with too many bowlers? What could the idea be by Mr. Rohit, Sharma, who obviously hasn't, or at this juncture, everything that he's touching is turning gold. What's the thought process?
No, I think he's just the fit players on the park. He's just figured out that everybody can bowl in this team. It's not by choice, but more by compulsion that he's come to this. He'd be happy with 6. That's the ideal thing. You have 5, and you have another guy who can fill in if somebody's having a bad day. That's the ideal way to go. Yes, some teams have 7. That's novelty. Somebody like an Australia, sometimes they said West Indies back in the day used to have 7. Chris Gill would come and bowl off spin. But having said that, I think this is more about what is available at the moment with all that's happening, injuries, COVID, whatever. I mean, rotation, rest, whatever you call it. So this has just happened. This was not planned. And this is a good problem to have.
Indeed. And I think, you're talking about opportunity. I think, when I look at the team list today, I think each of these boys, I mean, Harshal obviously has started well, had an off day. I mean, Bishnoi had a good series. Siraj obviously, would probably have very fond memories of playing in Australia. He would be hoping that whilst he's not in the top 2 reckoning, but in fact, I want to get your thoughts on that. Like, how much does it play a role that a bowler who's bowled well, obviously in a different format, in those conditions? Do you think that sort of success in those conditions would make him feel confident, would make the management feel that, what, yes, a different format, but the guy bowls with his heart, he's tireless, and he's had success in Australian conditions? Would that help Siraj's case, or would you still go with the ability required for the T20 format, which Bhuvi and Bumrah have kind of showcased their talents in?
No, you go with ability, but you also need your backups. You need your backups to play and put their hand up and say, I'm the one. If any of these guys are indisposed, injured, rested, stroke, whatever, I'm the one. So also the others who are in the fray will have to come and do their bit to make the team. Harshal is a totally different ballgame because he does something that is different to Bumrah and Bhuvi. He bowls in the middle, he bowls at the end. So there will be these bowlers who bowl in the first six in the power play, and if there is a swing, if there is seam, they will avail that. So Siraj is from he falls in that group. So he bowls maybe two up in the power play, maybe one in the middle, and maybe one at the end. Depends how the match is going. He could end up bowling two at the end. So these days, if you're a fast bowler in T20 cricket, you need to be able to bowl in the power play, which means swing, seam. You need to be able to bowl in the middle, which means mixing it up. You need to bowl at the end, which means Yorker slow ball. So you need everything in your repertoire.
Fair enough. And let's talk about Jadeja at 5. I mean, obviously, spectacular innings, very, very fluent, all around the park. Uh, your thoughts on, I mean, obviously we have, there is Shreyas, there is Surya, and there is Venkatesh, but Jadeja at 5, is that a very, very, a regular option that Rohit can kind of go in? Because clearly Rohit seems to have backed Jadeja for this. He is obviously has a lot of praises. Do you think this could be a permanent fixture?
It could be. It's up to Rohit. Rohit seems to like it that he says that Jaddu will bat at the top. But what I feel is that, he's been away from the game for a long time and they're giving him some really, really valuable game time. That's why he's so far up. I still feel him coming at 7 because I can't imagine Jadeja batting at 5 and Surya batting at 7 or Rishabh batting at 7. So I have a feeling he's still going to bat 6 or 7. And Venkatesh actually might not even fit in if Jadeja is fit.
Yeah.
So that's another position. That's another thing because I feel it will be the two openers, and then we have Virat at KL and Rohit. Then we have Virat at 3. We have I don't know Shreyash at 4, Surya at 5, Rishabh at 6, Jaddu at 7. That's a superb team. So I don't know if Venkatesh will fit in. If it's seeming condition, then they have to relocate, maybe not play Shreyash and then play. So Jadeja comes one up, and then Venkatesh gets in the middle somewhere. So these are all depends on conditions, what the pitch is dishing out to you for the day. But I think this is more to just get Jadeja back to speed. That's the reason, just to get him back to where he was, give him more game time because no matter how much you bat in the nets, there is no white ball cricket going on in domestic cricket now. It's all red ball cricket. So that's the only way you can get him to back to his form, confidence, and physically and mentally, and just so that he feels I'm back where I was, is to be able to go in the middle early, and that's what Rohit is looking at.
Hopefully he keeps making the most of it because obviously if he bats this well, that confidence will feed his bowling as well. And obviously fielding, I don't think he needs any extra dose of encouragement. He's such a natural catcher thrower. Talking about Sri Lanka, they're going with a couple of changes. The match begins in about 10 minutes. Vander Say, Lianage come in. We saw sparks of brilliance again in the batting. Nisanka, Asalanka, Shanuka, even Lahuru was good enough. We've spoken about ability, etc. Again, any specific, when you've seen some of those middle order batsmen do well, would you experiment by shuffling the order and, giving some of these guys more batting time, so to speak? Or would you just kind of still, stick with the normal and hope that these guys can cross 180, 190 once again?
No, it's on the ability. Like I don't know the Sri Lanka team as well, and their ability. I know the team, but I don't know their ability as well because we don't get to follow a lot of Sri Lankan domestic cricket. It's only international cricket, so all of us would not know how some of these new players are. Because if we follow domestic cricket, we know what these players can do. So even if somebody hasn't played a lot of international cricket, like Devdutt Padikkal or Rituraj, who's injured at this point in time with wrist injury, we know what they do because I've seen enough of them in domestic cricket. But they will know who fits which role uh, because of because we don't get to see much of their domestic cricket. They don't have a lot of A-team tours. We don't get a lot of news of that. At least even if we see the scores, but not the videos. So I don't have any idea about the skill set. But they will for sure. Their coach, they will know who fits into which role. And as I said, and I keep harping on this, that they are a small country. They will need a little bit more time to get their reserves compared to a country like ours or any other country for that matter. So we have to be a little bit patient with them. But I'm a huge fan of theirs. Just for a country of that size to be able to do what they've done, produce the players they have, is phenomenal.
Fair enough. And before and I want to just throw the spotlight on the man of the hour, Rohit Sharma, the most T20I capped player. Amazing consistency, captaincy record. Obviously, early days, weaker opposition, but he's been doing fantastic. Just maybe talk us through your thoughts on what have you liked about Rohit, the captain. You mentioned about the off the field, the camaraderie, putting the hands around the shoulders, encouraging folks like Bhuvi, Chahal, etc. On the field, in terms of tactical changes, what is it about Rohit, his consistency, because to be able to play, be the most, capped player, to be able to captain, to be able to win, to be able to lead your side, to be able to score this prolifically, what is Rohit doing so well in this T20 format?
So when he goes into bat, he's not the captain; he's just the player because that's the advantage. And there is a coach and a coaching a few coaches over there who are taking care of things in the dressing room. So that's one advantage. What I like about Rohit as a captain is firstly he's cool, calm, collected, and in T20 he doesn't let the game float because it's a 20 over game. In Test match, sometimes you can just wait and hang back and wait for things to happen. You can't do that in T20. He'll give the Bhuvi the first over. If it swings, he'll give him another. If it doesn't swing, he'll get somebody else with pace. So he's always on you. He surprises you. He's on the ball. He doesn't let the game float. He doesn't wait for things to happen. He tries and makes it happen. It's not going to work out every time, but if it does work out 70%, 65%, he's doing really well for himself because there's a tough opposition on the other side as well. And I say pan all the teams in the world. So he's no magician that every time he takes the ball and gives it to somebody else, he's going to come with 2 wickets and over. It's not going to happen. But I love the fact that how proactive he is, and that's one of his biggest plus points. Yeah, like all the things you said, how he gets along. He's a bowler's captain. Bowlers love captains. If you're a bowler's captain, they love you. And you spend more time with the bowlers. You actually don't spend much time with the batters because they're out in the middle. But you spend a lot of time with the bowlers because 11 are here together. And those 5 or 6 guys will win you the game. So he spends a lot. He seems to be a bowler's captain. All the bowlers love him. The way he's treated Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. Sometimes as a captain, you can tell a coach or the selection committee, listen, leave him to me. Give him 5 games. I'll sort him out. So he's earned the stripes to do that. And I have a feeling he's doing that with Bhuvi because he knows how valuable Bhuvi is, and he knows that we don't have a lot of replacements for Bhuvi.
Kudos to Rohit Sharma. Hopefully, he continues doing that, and hopefully today he, ends the series with a big knock. Today, India doesn't have enough batting firepower, so we'll be depending on him, Sanju, Shreyas, and Jaddu, I suppose. Obviously, we have Venkatesh, etc. But I'm looking forward to a fantastic innings from Rohit. Hopefully, when India get to chase. Let's see first. The match starts in 5 minutes. Hopefully, Sri Lanka put up a competitive total. They need to, just for their sake of confidence, because they're preparing for the World Cup as well. Wish both the teams all the very best. I'm sure we'll be seeing scenic scenes from Dharamshala. The game starts in 5. Jadibda, I'll see you later in the evening.
Absolutely. Let's